Hey everybody, it's Mike, and I'm out here at the Zachary Taylor Post out here in St. Matthews to celebrate some World War II vets on this December 7th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. So got some Jeeps out here from the Kilroy guys, and let's go inside and check out what's going on, meet some of these World War II heroes.
Live on a couple, because some of these guys are too humble. They won't talk about their experience. And I just want to emphasize, it was just as important for someone who was non-combat, who was in country. They were just as important. I think it took, Doug, you're a veteran, it took 7 to 8 non-combat personnel to support the frontline personnel. So everyone played a part in World War II. Whether you were here, I had an uncle, he was a flight instructor. He wanted to go across overseas, and they wouldn't let him go because he was such a good flight instructor. He said, we can't send everyone overseas. Someone's got to stay home and train folks to fly planes and drive tanks and so forth. So everyone was important. The first, and I'm just going to go down the line here. I do have a cheat sheet here. I'll use the shortened version. Aneris Vigara. Right? Andrus. See, I already messed up. He's an Army Special Forces. He served, and get this, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Grenada Revolution, the Dominican Revolution, and he's 101 years old. So let's give this young man a round of applause. And first of all, isn't this incredible to have these gentlemen here? I mean, I'm shocked. This is great. Let's give them another round of applause. While we have these World War II veterans with us today. I'm just amazing. Oh, one thing I want to tell you too is, they're all, it's American living history. I could have brought in a book on World War II, but feel free to talk to these men after this program. Ask them what it was like over there, or their experiences here at home. It's a living history. So now, next we have Mr. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. And you are?
My name is Charles Whitaker.
And your age?
And I'm 97 years old. And I was in the South Pacific.
Army,
yeah. That's about it.
And that's pretty typical. They don't talk too much about their experience. Let's give him a round of applause, okay? Okay. Our next one.
I'm William J. Ewing. I served in Europe, and I'm 99 years old.
Wow. Wow, is that amazing? Okay, this young man here, I know him pretty well.
My name is Chester Kitchen, U.S. Army. I'm 96 years old. I was only served after the shooting part of the war was over, but I served all my time, which was about 18 months in the United States. and most of that was at Fort Bliss, Washington, and 2nd Infantry Division.
Okay, let's give Chester a round of applause. Okay, now this young man.
Al Vinegar, 97, U.S. Navy Hospital Corps. And I was stationed at 5 U.S. bases. The longest was Pensacola Naval Air Station. And when I was 15, on Pearl Harbor Day, it was a warm day in Louisville, and I was caddying at the Ottoman Country Club. And of course, we didn't know what was going on at all, until we got through the 18th hole, and all the members were running around like wild. And finally, one of them told us about Pearl Harbor. But that was an unbelievable day, of course.
And let's give a round of applause. Okay, next.
All right, my name is Lee Smith, and I was in the U.S. Army Air Force. I make it very clear it was the Army. And I was trained as a radar operator, which is very rare. At that time, it was top secret, and but never got overseas. I want to add one thing. I'm a native Californian who moved here 3.5 years ago. And I was 16 when the war started. I was in Southern California. Californians were convinced they were going to be invaded. They were terrified. Fortunately, it didn't happen, but they thought it would happen.
Okay, let's give Lee a round of applause. Okay, I know this young man here.
I'm Herb Rader of U.S. Army. I was in a 173rd Combat Engineer Battalion attached to the 96th Infantry Division. We made the invasion of the Philippines. I guess the best thing I ever heard, saw, or did was when I was back in the ocean, we saw this landing craft come ashore, and within 30 yards, General MacArthur returned to the Philippines. We left the Philippines, went to Okinawa. I was on Okinawa when the war ended. And from there we went, I figured we'd come home in the 96, but the Army don't work that way. We were changed from a combat engineer battalion to an engineer boat and shore battalion, and ended up at Incheon, Korea, running the port of Incheon. That was it.
Okay, let's give Herb a round of applause. Now, Herb is also a couple other things I know about Herb. He's one of our ambassadors. We have 2 ambassadors for Honor Flight Bluegrass, and Herb is one, and John Shercliffe, Korean War veteran back there, he's the other. But Herb was also his other brothers were in the service of the team. And there are 3 Raider boys overseas all at the same time. And again, when you think of that picture of MacArthur walking ashore, that famous, he saw that happen. He was on the ship that saw MacArthur.
I thought they called the return.
There you go. Okay, now we have to. Okay.
Bernie Rosenthal, age 95, Marines, South Pacific.
Is that what you were going to say, Bernie?
Well, I can tell you that I had a brother. He was also in the Marines. He was on deck on the USS Missouri when the Japanese surrendered to General MacArthur. So we are a Marine family.
Okay, give a round of applause again. Thank you, Bernie. And then we have Ronald Godfrey. And Ronald, do you want me to speak for you? Let me just fill you in. I'll fill you in on Ronald here. Is that okay? He served in the South Pacific on the USS Orion, which was interesting. He was on this was a submarine repair ship. He's the only one that I've met who did this. He was called back into the service for Korea, believe it or not, on the very same ship he was on in World War II. And he's a young 96 years of age. So let's give him a round of applause. Okay, I know this young man. All right, here we go.
Uh,
Now you gotta keep it to 2 minutes. And I'm gonna tell you a secret. Okay, go ahead.
My name is James Wren, and I was in the United States Navy, and I was in the European theater and also in the Pacific theater, and I've been called the generation, and the reason why we didn't have electricity, think about it. We didn't have radios, we didn't have telephones, and that sort of toughened you up. Oh, by the way, we didn't have toilet paper. But anyway, I drove a landing boat for the United States Navy in 6 battles, and the good Lord has had his hand on me.
He's a young 100 years old. Jimmy, right?
Like 16.
He's cheating. He turns 100 years old a week from today. Okay? So, now a couple more things about Jimmy. Jimmy and his son and daughter-in-law, they drove 3 hours from Tennessee to be here. He was on an honor flight 2 years. So let's give him a round of applause. Thanking them. But the one thing too,
I've enjoyed it.
he has enjoyed it, and he's not bashful. But there are very few World War II veterans that were in both theaters. He was in North Africa against Rommel. He operated the Higgins boats that were landing troops. He finished up that in Sicily, and then he was in the Pacific. I've only known one other World War II veteran that were in 2 theaters of operations. So if you get a chance, talk to Jimmy a little bit. He's a great guy. Okay, I think I know this young man here. We're gonna let you introduce yourself.
Young man, thank you. Howard Griffin, U.S. Army. I started out in North Africa in 1943. And during World War II in Europe, I was in 7 different countries. Actually, I was behind the line scouts. We won the war because one reason, there wasn't any media there, there wasn't any politicians there. As soon as the war was over in Europe, I was boarded a ship and Leghorn met me. Thought I was going home. But when that ship went through the Panama Canal, I said, this is not the way to Alabama. So I ended up in Manila, and then when the war ended in Japan, I was in Yokosuka, Japan. I thank you very much.
Let's hear Howard. Now, I've known Howard several years. He's a very modest man. He was, again, in both theaters of the war. What he won't tell you is he served again in Korea, he served again in Vietnam, and he earned a Purple Heart in each war. He has 3 Purple Hearts. He was wounded in each war. So let's give him another round of applause. And that's pretty typical of your World War II veteran. They're so modest and humble about their past experiences. He was just honored at a rodeo in Louisville last week with thousands who honored him. Okay, now here's the best dressed man in this room. There's no doubt. I can't wait to see what Vinny's going to wear. I just can't. So, Vinny, you did it again, buddy, from Chicago. So, Vinny, just a quick comment about what you did in the service.
Okay. Well, I was 18 when I was drafted. Went into the service, did my basic training in Virginia. 8 weeks of basic training, and then went up to, we took a train up to Seattle, Washington, and they told us we were going up to the Aleutian Islands. We were reading embarkation, you know. So we went up, we got on the boat, got up up to the Aleutian Islands, and they turned around and said, you're going to the Pacific Ocean. Fine. We ended up in Guatemala, all the islands there, Baguio, Marikina, Leyte, and I ended up in Baguio, chasing the Japs up there into the mountains to freeze and to starve them to death. Spent about a year and a half in the islands out there. Sent us home to Chicago, and we had no money at the time. There was a hard depression time, and I took up boxing. I had maybe 10 boxes. Yeah, that's about 9 or 10 boxing matches, and I fought professional, and maybe brought in about $200 out of every fight, so I could feed the family. It was still depression time when I got home, and then I met my beautiful lady.
Yeah, what a great story. So Vinny, thank you so much. So let's give Vinny a hand. He was in the midst of the Pacific battles. He had some pretty difficult times, or that he'll tell you about if you want to talk to him. But I will never be able to dress as good as he can, I'll tell you that. So, all right, then we have Uncle Bill here. Bill?
William Norris. I'm 98 years old. I served in New Guinea, all over the Philippines. I made it to Japan. I got the opportunity to see him, but Hiroshima, where the first bomb was dropped, it stopped the war. And it was a terrible sight.
Okay, let's give Bill a round of applause. So, and then we have a chair here in honor of Tom Yeager. Tom Yeager was here last year, and he just passed away just within 2 weeks ago. And his son is Mike. Mike, where are you? Where's Mike? And we wanted him to be here in spirit because he was a World War II veteran in the Navy, right, Mike?
Yes, Navy.
Navy, okay. So we want to remember him. Jack Mooney was here last year. He's not with us anymore. We want to think about those who were here last year. And, you know, while Pearl Harbor was a terrible thing, we just want to take time to honor these true American heroes of World War II. So let's give these guys another round of applause.
Present. Huh. Or turn. Huh. Parade. Huh.
Wow, that was pretty incredible to spend some time with some World War II vets, honoring these World War II vets for their service, especially on today, December 7th, 2023. 82 years ago, today was Pearl Harbor, the start of the war with Japan. What an honor to hang out with these World War II vets. Hope you like this video.